Hello everyone, I'm here with Tech Motorsports, and here we are again with a little bit more upgrades on this E36 track car that I've been working on. So the last video, or I'm hoping the last video, was the installation of the 4-point roll cage with the delete panel. We got the corbo seats installed, the sliders, new steering wheel, and yeah, the upgrades still keep coming. And this video is going to be on a rear sway bar kit that we got from Garagistic. So that's going to be installed, and let's take a look at the kit real quick. So the kit that is going to be installed, as I stated, it is Garagistic. So that word's always been a little bit difficult for me, but so that's the kit. So we have the actual sway bar itself, and then we have the lower brackets that bolt onto the rear section of the subframe area. And then we also have the adjuster here that connects to the base and to the sway bar where the strut towers go. So it's a very nice kit for a track car, and of course that's what we're dealing with. And it looks like to be nicely built. This is, if I'm not mistaken, built aluminum. You can tell that it's been all in the machined. So yeah, so what we're going to end up doing next is just jumping into the trunk area. Again, this is a track car, so we're trying to keep most of the interior intact. So I will be cutting and trimming some of the carpet back, so I could go ahead and get this installed. And also I do want to add, don't mind the back brace. It's pulling the roll cage in and out with the seats so many times. It put a little stress on my back, so I'll have to use my brace to assist. So yeah, so let's jump into the trunk. So I've already removed the carpet, and I've got this panel loose already. When I was doing the delete panel, I already knew this was going to come off, so I already had and took the plastic rib nut little plug right here. I already took them off on both sides, so it was easy just to be able to pull back. So that gave me the access to the strut tower again. And what I ended up doing is, when I firstly installed the suspension, I just cut this section out to get to the bolts. But now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just cut it completely out of the way. And as you can see, I've already got that done, and I've already trimmed where the base or the porcelain neck bolts onto the strut tower. So that's already technically colorway on this side, and I'll have to do it on that side as well. Now, so when I originally installed the suspension, we added the reinforcement plates. I am going to leave those installed and put this bracket right above it, and I'm going to tighten it down. There's plenty of room, or plenty of threads on the studs on the strut itself, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. If it doesn't pan out, I can just remove it. I like the idea of having the additional reinforcement there, since that's steel and this is built aluminum. So yeah. So next thing I'm going to jump on is I'm okay with that. I'll jump to the other side, but I'm going to work on the plates underneath, since that's going to be a little bit more work. I have to drill into the chassis, and yeah. So I'm going to go ahead and start removing that panel and getting all that squared away. So stay tuned. Alright, so I end up trimming away this pad right here, and then access this area right here. On these section here, they're just little body plugs, so I removed all 4 of them. And yeah, so these go orientated one way only. So this one is how this one goes here. You have these holes that fall into these holes here, and then you have the indentation here, which is the that section here where the bolt's going to go through. Do not pay attention to the lettering describing on this, because this one states it is right. It might be for assembly purposes only, but this is driver's left side, and the that little item says right on it. Like I said, it only falls into place one way. So yeah, so next thing I'm just going to end up doing is removing the sound deadening, getting that all cut out. I already have it traced out, and take the bottom bolts off and drill straight through this. So stay tuned for that. All right, so I already did the center punch, and I drilled a hole here to give me a nice little pilot hole. I used the 5/32 drill bit to do that. When I did drill through with the 5/32, I felt the bolt literally right underneath this, so I thought there was will be a little bit more of a gap, like at least a ½ inch to maybe 3/4 of an inch, but it's literally right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the same method that I do with the E36 M3 subframe. Is I'm going to take the bolt out from underneath, and I'm going to use this drill bit and this extension that I have to drill the hole through here, which is the same size of the bolt that is the OEM bolt. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead get that going, and I'm going to do one bolt at a time. So I'll pick you up here in a bit. So earlier I mentioned that to use this, or I end up using this. I was incorrect. I forgot. I did try using this, but this this section here is it's too thick, too wide, and it won't fit in the hole for the rear subframe or the bushing itself. So I couldn't use this. So what I have done is use this before. This is just the extensions for a Phillips or a flathead. I used a couple of those just to get those in through there, and that's what I end up could use. But once I went digging for that, I forgot I have an actual pretty long drill bit for long occasions and stuff. I've had this for a long time, so I used that. And then what I ended up doing is once I drilled it through, I just went over it with my step drill bit from the top, just to give it a nice clean round cut around in there, and it went one size up or one size further up and cleaned everything out. As you can see, the bolt's already installed. So just the next step is just it falls right into place, and put the washer that came with the kit and the nylon nut, and tighten it down. So what I'm going to end up doing is I'm going to work on the other side and get that one done, and then yeah, I'll catch you in a bit. All right, so I've been messing with it, just trying to get everything all squared away, but let's go over these plates. Now, when I started tightening these down, I noticed that the sheet metal here was starting to squeeze down. If you end up installing this and doing this yourself, it's going to happen. It is just nothing but sheet metal. What's going to happen, or what's going on, is that gap is just shrinking down in there, and this cup where this bolt or this nut is at, that's what's technically going to bite down on the insert of the OEM bolt or section in there that the subframe bolts onto. So this plate is going to technically sandwich into that. I always just keep an eye as you do start to bring it down. Don't use an impact, nothing of that sort. Do it by hand, and you'll get to the point where you'll start to see it squeeze down, and it'll start getting a little bit more tighter. You don't want to go super tight. If I have, just to give you an idea, probably about 3/8 of an inch of threads above the nylon nut. So just to give you an idea. So with that said, that's been bolted down. I did have to release the exhaust on that side to get the bolt out, and I had to kind of maneuver it a little bit and drop one of the OEM rubbers there, so that I could get the longer bolt into the side where the exhaust is at, which is the driver's left. So with all these, with this bolted down, here is the problem, which I'll pick you up here in a quick second. Now, with the bar itself, the sway bar, the upper section, that's what I'm going to call it, there are threaded. Unfortunately, they're not threaded to where you could bolt it on and you can twist it and they'll go out. They are the same thread, so not one of these ends are not reverse thread, so you can't kind of do it like you do a tie rod. It's not like that. So you have to put it on, figure it out, put it in to see how far you need to go out, and you need to remove it, and then do one at a time. Which I wish they would have done. They would have done at least the reverse thread on one side, so that you could have it installed there and then twist this to tighten it, to pull it in or pull it out. And the worst part of it all, the same thing with this. It is same thread, so you have to turn this one way and turn this one the other way. Try it to see if it's long enough or short enough or whatever, and then have to keep doing it. So it took a little bit. So just to give you an idea, if you do decide to do this on your own and you do purchase this kit, what I ended up doing is I went all the way in with the bar up top, and I went one full rotation out, and then I put it on there. The top bar, I like where it sets. Now these bottom ones are a little bit different. I went originally 8 out on both to get it to bolt it in there, and I had to come in with the bottom one to 7. I concentrated on having the bolt heads facing me. So in other words, the bolt heads facing the rear bumper. That way it kind of looks a little bit clean, and it's easier to tighten down. So yeah, another thing that I found is this section here, which is going to be here on this one, is technically just rubbing, and it's resting on this joint right here. So once it's bolted on and you get that in place, you have to push up on it to get the bottom one on, and then it'll go in there. So it's a little bit of tight fit. I don't mind it. I don't think it's bad, but it would be nice that, you know, if when they did do this, they, you know, grinded it down. I don't want to grind it down. They look too pretty right now, so I'm just going to leave it like that. I'm okay with it. And the other thing I do want to add is, once you get ready to install this and it's in there, leave the bolts, those bolts and these bolts loose, so that you can move this around and then adjust this. Because what you're going to do is, once you get this to the right spot, then you're going to tighten these bolts up top where the strut goes. So I hope that makes sense. It's looking pretty nice. I'm digging it. I'm not completely done yet because I have to do the panel. So I'm going to go ahead and install the remaining one and pick you up here in a second. The Garagistic sway bar kit has been completely installed. It does look pretty good. I do like that with the carpet inside and everything. It makes it look really nice. Now, to go over and summarize on a couple of things that I do want to make sure I get across was, I did leave the reinforcement plates that we installed on the first video when we first got the car here. Those have been installed. The KW hats had enough threads on the hats themselves for me to bolt down the nut and have about pretty much a thread showing above the nut. So those have been tightened down, which is on the strut tower. The 13 mil bolts here on the 4 corners have been tightened down, and I also got I think this is 22 mil. The bars have been tightened down so they don't move or rotate anymore. So yeah, the carpet looks great installed, great for a track car. Looks super clean in here. I dig it. I do dig it. So yeah, the only thing I wish they would end up changing is just to make these adjustable, so you don't have to remove them and adjust them, that they can be adjusted while they're on there. So there is more stuff that is going to happen to this car, so those videos will be coming up down the road as well. The list is not done yet, so please keep an eye out for those videos. And also, like always guys, please help the channel out by doing so. You gotta hit the like and subscribe button. So hope to see you in the next videos.